program leaders from, I think, 19 different countries that joined us for this particular event. And it was a fantastic 24 hours of innovation. So join us at the next Global Innovation Field Trip. It takes place July 10th and 11th, and you can go to globalinnovationfieldtrip.org to check it out, to sign up to be a presenter, or sign up to be an attendee and just watch. It's a great place to bring your class if you're an educator, and to learn more about students from all across the world. Also, the National Innovator Challenge is underway. Registration closes on May 31st. So get your registrations in if you're interested in participating. And that's open to K-12 students across the United States. Entries this year aren't just prototypes, but they can be prototypes, ideas, or apps. So we're real excited about expanding and being inclusive of a lot more types of innovation. And the top innovators from that competition move up to the Global Innovation Challenge, which takes place September 25th and October 2nd. And it's a fantastic opportunity to compete with kids around the world. So that's all I got on that. Jake, anything you want to add before we introduce our wonderful guest today?
I just want to talk about the food challenge that's coming up.
Oh,
an associated program that we're working with, inventfuture.global, had a water challenge in January, February, and March of this year, and it was based on the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals of clean water, drinking water. And it was incredibly successful. There were 85 students, 9 years old to 18, from 15 different countries, working together to solve this global problem. And it was so successful, we're doing it again, and it's going to be in July. And it's just going to be fantastic. It's based on the Sustainable Development Goal number 2, which is food, sustainable food, getting rid of hunger and malnutrition. So if you're at all interested, contact Julie, and she can show you how to get signed up for this. It's a wonderful event, and it'll be one full week in July. We have 2 weeks, but participate 1 week.
And you can contact us at info@innovationworld.org. All right, wonderful. Hey, let's move on to the favorite part of our show, our Young Innovator. And today we have with us Casey Cheng. And Casey, why don't you unmute yourself and start by letting us know what grade you're in, what school you're in, maybe what state you're in, and then you can start talking about your innovation, and we'll ask questions when you're done or along the way, whatever works for you.
Hello, so my name is Casey, and I'm in 7th grade, and I go to Folly Quarter Middle School. Right now, pretty much that's it.
Where do you live, Casey?
I live in Maryland.
Ah, okay.
Okay. And you innovated something, but we aren't sure what yet. So why don't you share with us a little bit about your innovation?
So this is my innovation. It's called the Potty Plane, and it's a toilet assistive device for toddler boys who are having trouble with potty training. So it's pretty easy and it's simple.
And can you repeat the name of it, please?
It's called the Potty Plane.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. So first of all, why did you invent this? You're obviously not a little boy, and you're way too old to have a potty issue. So what led you to inventing this?
Well, it's my terrible nightmare that struck me because, it happened when my little brother kept making messes all over the place when he would go to the bathroom very often. So he would spray all over the toilet ring, on his pants, on the floor, and pretty much anywhere you can ever imagine. So every time we would always have to clean it up, not him, because he doesn't even know how to do it. So I tried to find solutions to do it. And I thought that maybe a tool would help because it would be easy to use. And basically, I tried to make something that was simple and would solve the problem easily.
And so how did you decide on a plane?
Well, I wanted them to like it, especially because they're little kids, like toddlers. I wanted it to look fancy so they'd want to use it. And also because I wanted to look good.
And so for right now, we're live streaming on YouTube, but later we'll just be sound only. Can you kind of describe what the invention looks like?
So this is what it looks like. It has 4 main parts. Over here is the main opening where there's a hole in right here where it goes in. And then down here is a tube where it goes out and then goes into the toilet without splashing. And it's pretty, it goes in and out with no mess. And then down here is a stabilizer. It stabilizes it right under the toilet seat so that it stays there without shaking around. And then right in the middle is the base. It's the part that holds everywhere together.
Wow. So it latches on underneath the toilet seat so that the plane is nose down towards the water in the toilet. Yes.
Yeah.
And the little boy is actually peeing then in the larger opening that's in the back of the plane, which is now up close to the toilet seat or the toilet lid. Okay. This seems like you've thought of just about everything. So has this been tested?
Yes, I actually created a video on it.
Oh, that's cool. Maybe you can send that to us later and we can post that as well on the YouTube site if you're interested in us doing that. We can't watch it. We can't watch it on here right now because it won't show well. It won't sound well as part of the podcast. But so I noticed that you had some cardboard as part of that for your prototype. What kind of materials do you think you would use if you moved forward and developed the product?
Definitely more stronger and sustainable plastic. I mean, it's just a prototype, so it's not meant to be as strong. It's just a design to help guide me and make it stronger. But of course, I want to make it into a stronger type of plastic that's easier to wash and use. And yeah, basically.
Wow.
Very smart. Does that come in adult sizes for men as well?
Not that I thought of it, but of course, I was thinking of making it adjustable. But I would need stronger materials. Yeah, especially my 12-year-old cousin still does it. So, well, like when he came here, he wet the whole ground, and when I went in there, I literally slipped and fell on the floor. So,
oh my goodness.
Yeah. Casey, I'll tell you something that really impressed me is we have a lot of students who come in and show us some invention and things. And there were 3 things that I was really impressed about. First of all, sometimes they come up with just an idea, but you actually built this. You actually tested that. And that's very impressive. Congratulations. The other thing is sometimes students only worry about getting the product to work, but you also considered about what would make this person actually use it. It's not enough just to work. And you deliberately designed it into a shape and a name that would get the little boy excited about using it. So you took the consumer into account for the product. It just wasn't a product. You thought about the marketing of it. So that's very impressive, Casey.
I agree.
thank you.
So if you develop this, are there any other things that you think you might develop along with it, or any enhancements or anything you thought of that you might do differently to it?
I would definitely improve it. Like there are always improvements available because, well, the material I talked about how it would be more, it could get stronger and more sustainable. But I was trying to also get it to be a real product so other families could use it. And that's something I struggle with. And also the adjustability.
Casey, at some point in the future, you're going to be applying to college and you're going to have a college application. And I want you to make sure you put the story of this innovation on that college application. I think the people reading it will really appreciate what you've done and they'll remember you. Make sure you put this on your application, right?
Okay, thanks.
Yeah,
I will.
absolutely.
So have you thought of any other types of models you might make other than planes?
Definitely. Probably more like other things they would like. I mean, I could go on a wide range of things that they'd like. For example, like maybe I could put it like a brand type, maybe like a Spider-Man one or a special kind of unique one that they've never seen before, because I want the kids to really like it and be like, ooh, I want this.
Now,
Yeah.
Casey, I have a question. How did you end up here? Did you do something? Did you tell somebody about your innovation?
Well, I always make things like all the time. I started when I was really, really little. I started making like shoes and clothes, and then I made different kinds of like things that, like, even when I was in preschool, I made a paper jacket because I was bored from the paper towels, and everyone got it so excited even though it was raining.
But how did you enter any other event? How did you end up here on this podcast?
Well, I did do a few well, I just did the student ideas for a Better America.
Oh, can you tell us about that?
I entered for that 2 times, and yeah, I won both of the times. That's how I got here.
What was your other invention?
It was a garden-based desk organizer.
Wow. And so when you
I'm sorry,
won,
would you repeat what that was? I'm sorry.
Garden-based desk organizer.
Garden-based desk organizer. What does that mean?
So it's basically an organizer that helps store all the supplies, and it looks like a garden. It has like a playground and a pencil cactus thingy on it, and like all kinds of things.
so Casey, what was the name of that organization again?
Which organization?
The one you entered twice.
That you entered.
Oh, Student Ideas for Better America.
Student Ideas for a Better America, right?
Yeah.
And then when they said you won, they just what? Shook your hand and said congratulations?
Well, kind of in a like mess.
No, but didn't something else happen?
Yeah. Well, yeah, they called me and they sent me $100.
Nice.
They sent you $100. That's pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just think if you had $100 for every idea you've come up with, Casey, you'd be rich.
She's going to be
Sounds
rich.
like you came up with a lot of things so far. You should think about looking at the Innovation World site and looking at the National Innovator Challenge and see if you'd be interested in entering one of your inventions in that challenge. So if you decide to look at that and do that, your mom can reach back out to me and I can let you know how to do that, because top innovators from that challenge move up to the global challenge, which is in September, and there you're competing against kids all across the world in your same age range. So it's not like you're competing with, 12th graders or kindergartners. You're competing with kids basically in the same range as you are in. So you definitely are a lifer at this, I think. I bet you walk around and you just see things all the time and think, I could fix that. I can make that better than it is today, or I have a solution that would help make that problem better.
Thanks. I'll try the competition thingy. And yes, you're right. I walk around looking for problems.
There's something else that Jake and I are involved in that's called the Global Innovation Field Trip. Have you ever heard of it?
In another podcast, but other than that, I don't know anything about it.
It's pretty new. The Global Innovation Field Trip happens once a quarter. We actually started it last May when everything started closing because of COVID, and we knew a lot of young innovators across the world wouldn't have their spring celebrations and their ceremonies and stuff. So we created a way to celebrate them and to celebrate companies that support them, organizations like National Museum of Education that you were talking about earlier. And we have one every quarter. The next Global Innovation Field Trip is July 10th and 11th. And if you go on the globalinnovationfieldtrip.org or go to innovationworld.org, you can find it. Read about it. It sounds like you may have already, you may have heard podcast, or you may have gone to see some of the videos. You can watch videos from all of the different events to look at what the young innovators present. They have a 10-minute or a 20-minute spot. You'd probably pick a 10-minute the first time out for sure. But we invite you to be a part of that if you'd like to sign up to be a presenter at the next field trip. It is a lot of fun. And for that matter, there's also a student co-host challenge if you have any interest, where students submit a short video to us of somebody they've interviewed, and we select students to participate as hosts with us. You're always with a host that has been a host before, but it gives the student an opportunity to help introduce guests, to help ask questions of the other presenters and guests. And you could do that and be a guest, just not at the same time. You know, it's a 24-hour time block, and you're really articulate. And I think you do really good as a co-host if you wanted to. It's only an hour-long co-host spot, but it gives you kind of a sense of what it feels like to be on the other side, where you're asking the questions and you're introducing somebody, or you're welcoming them and letting them introduce themselves.
That would be so cool.
Well, there you go. Have your mom look it up and sign you up, and we would love to have you there. So I have one more question, and Jake may have more questions too, but my question to you is, if there's students out there listening right now who just really aren't sure whether they've got it to be an inventor, what would you say to them?
Well, just keep trying. Anything you make can like always be improved. Even if it's just like a scrap of paper, just like use your brain. Find something that it can do. Like everything has a use basically, but if you're trying, there's always ways to improve it. So try to find those ways. Maybe they're just hidden.
Very good advice. Jake?
No, I'm just
Any other questions?
No questions. I'm just very impressed with the invention, but even more importantly, the thought that went behind it. And I think that your next one after this will be even better. And the one after that will be even better still. So this is just the beginning of a long journey for you, Casey. Good luck.
Thank you.
You did wonderfully. Thank you so much. I appreciate you being a guest on our podcast today.
Thank you. I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So is there a way for me to make this tool into a real product or like a marketable product?
Well, as a matter of fact, we were just talking to a patent attorney this afternoon. You probably want to, talk to somebody about getting it patented, or maybe even doing some marketing. Julie, remember that the gentleman we had on who was doing the marketing? I can't remember his name now.
With the United Inventors Association group?
His daughter was on, and then he came on, and he does all the marketing.
I might not have been in that segment, but we can look him up. One of the things you can do too, Casey, is look at that National Innovator Challenge, because the winners of that challenge, there'll be a few things that they receive, but one of the really cool things is they'll be part of a 5-week workshop session, and that I think will begin July 22nd. And each week, each Thursday, I think at 3:00, beginning July 22nd, the students the top innovators will meet on a webinar, and they will be webinaring with an industry expert. And the patent attorney that we talked about a couple minutes ago, we met with today, is interested in also being a part of that. So one of the segments will be him, and he'll come on, he'll talk to students about patenting. How do you know if you need a patent? Some very general things. I mean, you'll really want to talk to your own patent attorney at some point, but it'll give you information to make some decisions on whether you want to move forward. And if you do want to move forward, what are the professionals that you need to seek out? And then we'll probably have somebody there that handles marketing, maybe the person that Jake's talking about. So it would be a really cool thing to be a part of, especially if you're one of those students that makes top inventors or top innovators and can take part in that.
Casey, if you go to the Global Innovation Field Trip website, we have links that will take you to all the videos of all the past presentations. And there's a few hundred of them. I mean, it's just not like 5, but there's also a description of each one. And if you go look for them, there are some adults there who talk to inventors and give them advice. And some of those I think will become very useful to you. You might want to review some of those.
Oh, that's nice.
So we do know a lot of people in the industry, and those people do things that you're talking about. We don't really necessarily recommend them ourselves, but by virtue of working with us, you could meet those people on your own and choose to reach out to them or not. Does that make sense? Because that's not what we do, but we certainly make the connections. Okay.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thanks so much for joining us today. Hold on for just a second.
You want me
Hey,
to turn it off?
just a reminder, I think then for folks to go out to innovationworld.org, look for the Global Innovation Field Trip, look for the National Innovator Challenge, look for the Global Innovation Challenge, look for upcoming soon will be the food
Challenge.
No, it's not just food
Well,
challenges.
it's food system challenge. It's
Food
it's
system
just not food,
challenge
it's
that
a
will be
whole
coming soon.
system of food.
If you're looking for challenges, go to the events page on the innovationworld.org site and you will find challenges and they are updated all of the time. So thanks so much for joining us and we'll see you next time.